From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your morning update.
Cascade Paint & Supply is Redding's oldest family-owned paint store, established in 1953. We are the largest Dunn Edwards dealer in the nation, and most of our products are made in the U.S. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff are ready to answer your questions and help you today.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Meteorologist Mike Krueger, and if you don't have any plans this Friday, well, we got something here for you. If you head on out to the Cascade Theater this Friday, you've got Jane Lynch and Kate Flannery. The Trouble with Angels, two hilarious women here. They have got some amazing vocals. They're hilarious. They've got some great comedy. It's September 5th. Get your tickets today. Go to cascadetheater.org to order your tickets, or you can also call the number on your screen, 530-243-8877, and they will be sure to hook you up with some tickets. Be sure to check it out at the Cascade Theater this Friday. All right, so here's a look at your weather headlines. Mountain thunderstorms through Thursday. We've got a threat for dry lightning over the next few days, continuing that threat, unfortunately. You've seen some new lightning spark fires yesterday. We'll probably see more today and possibly even tomorrow. But outside of that, once we get away from that, temperatures will start to drop, especially by this weekend and early next week, and maybe even some widespread rain across the area by sometime early next week. So we've got a few things to talk about and a lot to talk about with the fires as well. So before we get into all of that, here's your Krueger's Quick Cast for your Wednesday, September 3rd. All right, you're heading out for work, getting the kiddos off to school. Low 70s in the valley, 50s and 60s for the higher elevations, and some of that fog out along the coast, as we'd expect, even some drizzle out there. Now, there's still some leftover moisture. In fact, still a few showers even in Lassen and Modoc counties this morning, and most likely even through the afternoon. In fact, let's take a look at Futurecast. So there it is, 8 o'clock this morning. Lassen and Modoc counties most likely seeing the bulk of the activity here. By midday, it mainly pushes to the north into Modoc County. Then by the afternoon, Siskiyou and Modoc County seeing the best chances for thunderstorms. That being said, extreme northern Trinity County, and I would even say that even parts of Lassen and Plumas counties could see a stray shower or thunderstorm as well. But a lot of this energy pushes up to the north, and by tonight, it's all pretty much done with by 10 o'clock. But looks like maybe another round coming into Thursday, which we'll worry about that a little bit later. So there you can see, still hot in the valley, upper 90s, about 100 degrees. It's going to be some smoke out there, by the way, if you're not dealing with thunderstorms, especially in the higher elevations. Thunderstorms, especially in Siskiyou and Modoc County, but again, I'm including that chance even for Lassen and Plumas counties, especially this morning, but by the afternoon, those chances may be a bit slimmer. So your 7-day forecast for the valley, look at the temperatures dropping, upper 80s over the weekend for Redding, low to mid 80s. And look at that, even some rain possibly by next Tuesday in the valley. For the coast, as early as Monday, as well as inland and even Trinity County. Taking a look at the Siskiyou County and Modoc and Eastern Mountains, chance for thunderstorms today and tomorrow. But those chances do diminish. Now, Friday's still a little iffy. Certainly keep a close eye on that. And there's more of that widespread rainfall by tomorrow, Monday or Tuesday of next week. All right, that's a look at your Krueger's Quick Cast. Before we get into, and of course, wanted to mention that it's sponsored by Garmin's Tractor Service. We're going to take a look at the current conditions with all of the fires out there. Before we get into that, and we see, of course, some of the heat signatures that we have, I want to show you what it looks like. Now, the clouds are kind of covering up some of the heat signatures that we're seeing out there, but you can see last night, see they're kind of glowing a bit here. So there certainly has been some activity here. Of course, yesterday, last night, it looks like some of the activity may have died down a bit, but we may see these begin to flare up again here as we go through the afternoon, and not to mention this evening as well. But once again, we can take a look at some of the heat signatures. You see the yellow and orange dots there. The yellow is about heat signatures that are about 24 hours old or more. As you start getting into the oranges and reds, that's anywhere from even 6 to even 12 hours old. So you can see not a lot of recent activity. In the last 24 hours, you can see that's where the yellow dots are. That's where we're seeing the bulk of it. The root fire, as you can see to the south and west of Castle Crags, there's that the heat signatures, and there's a look at the fire perimeter itself. This is now at about 669 acres as of 7 o'clock yesterday evening, but at 30% containment. To give you an idea of its distance from Mount Shasta City, it's still about 9 miles. So it really hasn't moved any closer, at least since last report. You can see the Dillon fire is now 7% contained, and as of 2:24 this morning, at 8,734 acres, about 1.8 miles from Cottage Grove on Highway 96 there. There you can see the most recent activity is about the last 24 hours and has mainly been on the west side of the fire, but even a little bit of that activity to the south end of the fire as well. All right, now we're going to kind of give you some perspective there. This is south of Highway 96, south of Side Valley, and there you can see the blue fire. Now, as of 10:24 yesterday, last night, it was reported at 1,559 acres, unfortunately with 0% containment. Still about 2 miles from, I believe it's pronounced either Syed or Sayed Valley. But there you can see still not moving much closer to any of these local communities. But really over the last 12 to 24 hours, there has been some recent activity. That orange area is about 12 hours old. So, but 12 to 24 hours old are the yellow dots, to kind of give you an idea here. So that's essentially what we're dealing with there. Now, just to kind of give you some perspective, this is really in a very rural area. You got the log fire. As of 4:10 yesterday afternoon, 628 acres, 0% containment, unfortunately, still at this point. And you can kind of see here over the last 24 hours, there certainly has been some activity, but not a lot. All right, now we take it to the south here. There's the Lick Fire. This is in Trinity County, west of Highway 3. 40 acres as of 6:31 yesterday evening at 5% containment. Hasn't moved any closer, hasn't really grown much. 4.5 miles from Coffee Creek. And any activity coming from this? Well, I don't see any. So it looks like in the last 24 hours, we really haven't seen any recent activity with the Lick Fire. Now, the Peak Fire is the main thing I've really been talking about. It really is very steep terrain. It's on the face of a mountain, really, and it's been working its way uphill. Now it looks to be on the summit, as you can see there on the fire perimeter map there. Now, we take a look at the latest data coming out of it. Last 24 hours, most of the activity has been on the north, or the north side of the fire onto the summit there. 505 acres as of 6:31 yesterday afternoon at 8% containment. 3.5 miles from Covington Mills, still about 8.5 miles from Trinity Center, and 13 miles from Coffee Creek. Those mileages, or the distances that is, haven't changed. There's a look at the Big Cliff Fire as of, well, the 29th of August, 1:03 p.m., just under 1,000 acres and 75% containment. These numbers are fairly old for the Big Cliff Fire, but again, it's kind of reached that stage where we're just not getting daily reports coming in from the Big Cliff Fire, but hopefully in the next day or two, we do get some new information. We take a look at the forecast smoke in the area, and you can see the Dillon Fire, the Blue Fire, the Log Fire, Peak, Cedar Fire, now the new Cedar Fire from yesterday in south central Trinity County, also a smoke producer. But the thing is, even though we've got a lot of smoke being produced by a lot of these fires, you'll notice it's not really encompassing the entire area of Northern California. Number one, the winds are mainly blowing from the south to north, and that's what's really helping to push. If you are north of any of these fires, then there's a very good chance you may see some smoke and some dense smoke. And really that thin column of smoke over the root fire is going to be pushing over Mount Shasta and in the Weed area over the next couple of days. And western Siskiyou County is still very smoky as well. All right, so there's a look at the wind gusts that we do have in the forecast there. And you can see they're not going to be changing much. You can see here as we go into 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, those winds fairly calm. All right, a little breezy again tomorrow afternoon, but nothing unusual. And then going into your Friday, once again, nothing major with the winds. Now, the fire weather risk, nothing alarming here, even for central Siskiyou County in that high range for this afternoon. And then on Thursday, it looks like it may not be quite as high, but still that moderate to high fire weather risk for Thursday for the valley. All right, that is a look at your Krueger's Quick Cast, the latest on the fires and the forecast with the fires, the works. There is a 24-hour streaming channel that you have access to. Now, within that 24-hour loop, you not only get the latest video forecast, the neighborhood forecast, but there is also a fire section in there as well. So you can kind of see what's going on with the smoke, what's going on with the winds, the humidity, the temperatures, the works. So it's all there on the 24-hour streaming channel. Be sure to check it out. And really one of the other cool things is 10 different locations you get current temperatures, and 10 different locations you can get a quick look at the 7-day forecast wherever you may be or close to where you are. In the meantime, you can get it on Roku, Fire Stick, anywhere YouTube is available, including your smart TV. It's that comment of, I miss you on TV, Mike. You don't have to, because you can watch me right here on the 24-hour streaming channel. And the YouTube app, even on your smart TV, you can on demand watch the latest video forecast. It's also available on weathernorcal.com and the free Weather NorCal app. It's available everywhere. Check it out. I think you'll like it. All right, so here you go. So we've got all of this moisture with the thunderstorms that we did see last night and early this morning. That's all scooting on out of here, but eventually we'll see more activity develop here this afternoon. In the meantime, high pressure is still in place, believe it or not, off to our west. That's going to keep temperatures fairly hot, but this is all going to be kind of scooting our way, and that's what's going to help to drop our temperatures down as we approach the weekend. There's a lot of dry air over Southern California, but this area of low pressure right here has progressively been scooping up some of that moisture from the desert southwest, and that's been the moisture source over the last few days. And on top of that, we've been seeing these disturbances rotate around the east side of that area of low pressure, and it's the flow around that low pressure that has, number one, been helping to produce those thunderstorms, along with some of that afternoon convection, but also helping to steer where those storms go. And the models were having a difficult time because this area of low pressure really determined where it was, determined where we saw thunderstorms. And there was some thunderstorm activity in parts of Butte County around the Chico and Oroville area last night. And it was anticipated that it would kind of skirt the east side of the valley, and it certainly did do that, but we didn't really see much in the way of activity north of the Chico area, in the valley at least. Most of it was in the mountains, and if you did see anything on the east side of the valley, it really was not all that intense. Now we look at the moisture content here as we take you into this afternoon. Moisture content is the available moisture, essentially. So when you get in the greens and yellows, that's typically enough for us to squeeze out some thunderstorms. Bit of a dry slot once again in Trinity County. That's why I don't expect, much like we've seen over the last few days, any thunderstorms in Trinity County. By Thursday, things start to dry out, but still some leftover moisture. This is why, especially on Thursday, chances for thunderstorms may be a bit slimmer in, say, places like Lassen and Plumas counties. The chances are there. I mean, you can see some of the available moisture, but pretty dry as you head to the south of that. And then by Friday, a lot more drier air is beginning to move in. That's the blues and those brown colors here, even along the spine of the Sierra. So drier conditions moving in. But by the time we go into early next week, we'll start to see this moisture and the area of low pressure begin to kind of move closer to us. That's going to eventually bring better chances for maybe even some rain across the board by early next week. Looking at futurecast here for the rest of the day today and even into tomorrow. So there you can see this morning, this is where the bulk of the activity will be. It pushes north through the morning by midday, mainly in Modoc County. I agree with that. I think that's a pretty good representation of what's going on. By the afternoon, I think the bulk of the activity will especially be in Siskiyou County and Modoc County, but we can't rule out a little bit of activity, especially in Lassen. But the farther south you go, the slimmer the chances. You see extreme northern portions of Trinity County may see a little bit of activity here, but to the south of that, it should remain dry. Taking you into 5 o'clock this afternoon, it starts to push northward, drying out by about 10 o'clock tonight. Going into your Thursday morning, you can see the dry conditions start off, but by the afternoon, there's that afternoon convection. Now, again, you can see it's mainly north and east of the valley, as we've seen here so far with this overall outbreak of thunderstorms. But again, look at Trinity County. We got that dry slot there, and that's why we're not seeing as much thunderstorm activity there, if any. There you can see Thursday afternoon. There it is, kind of staying off to the north here. That starts to push out. And then by the time we get into Friday, there's Friday midday, things are drying out. Now, you saw drier air moving in. I think the chances for thunderstorms diminish. For now, I'm going to keep thunderstorms out of the forecast. We'll see as we get a later model run here on Coffee with Krueger this morning and later this afternoon if it starts picking up on some activity here. We'll certainly adjust the forecast accordingly. But as of right now, as we get closer to the weekend, the chances for thunderstorms will pretty much begin to diminish. So you can see here still kind of some going back and forth on whether or not we see any activity over the weekend. For now, I'm keeping it dry. By around the beginning of next week, we do start to see this trough of low pressure right here begin to move in. Not only is that going to drop our temperatures, but that's also going to bring some widespread rain across the region. Not a ton. I don't see it being a big rainfall event, but I think all of us have the chance of getting wet, especially by Tuesday, but for the North Coast, Trinity County, Siskiyou County, as early as Monday. So there's that trough of low pressure off to our west. You start to see some of that energy kind of scooting eastward, helping to drop our temperatures down and push that heat down to the south. So temperatures start to drop. We'll notice it significantly cooler by the weekend. And then there's that trough of low pressure. There's that chance for rain I was talking about, but also look at that. Some cooler air really beginning to move in. It's that taste of fall, my friends. Yes, get out those spiced lattes. Get ready for fall because it feels like it, although we may see temperatures go back up. And this doesn't mean that we're done with the heat because we've still got the month of September. And September is known to still have some of those heat waves that we can contend with. But at least things are starting to show signs of cooling down. And that's always nice to see, especially after that long, hot summer, right? Take a look at those lake levels. Or the capacity is in the 60 to 70% range here, at least the capacity that it is at right now. But when we look at the historical averages, we are doing just fine. Still over 100% here, where we typically are for this time of the year. Taking a look at the wave heights, you can see here as we take you through the afternoon today and even into tomorrow, they're really not changing much. So your marine forecast, yeah, those winds will be from the northwest at about 5 to 10 knots. There's your waves. Look at your high and your low tide for today. We've got some of that patchy, dense fog out there. Here's a look at your neighborhood forecast, sponsored in part by Dignity Health. We're going to start off with Trinity County, where temperatures will mainly be in the 90s. Some of us could touch 100 degrees. Notice no rain until Monday, Tuesday of next week. And notice those cooler temperatures looking pretty pleasant. There's a look at your Dignity Health North Coast neighborhood forecast. Dry for the coast, but by Monday, Tuesday, got that chance for rain. Honestly, I'll probably be changing that intensity, the timing a little bit here, but just to kind of give you an idea that we're seeing that trend here in the long-range forecast models. Even the inland areas may see some of the showers by Monday, Tuesday. And there we've got those temperatures still rather warm, but we're starting to slowly see the temperatures drop. Still about 100 degrees though for Happy Camp as we look at your Dignity Health Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast. Still a chance for thunderstorms today, tomorrow, but Friday again is that transition point. There may be still a little bit of leftover activity here. Dry for the weekend, yeah, and then maybe another round of some showers here by Monday, Tuesday of next week. Your Modoc County neighborhood forecast: Tule Lake 86, 89 for California Pines, Fort Bidwell about 88. Thunderstorms today, tomorrow, and then Friday again that borderline chance. Eastern mountains, I think your chances today are pretty slim. This morning, sure, we're seeing some of that activity here, but as we progress through the afternoon, I think a lot of it will push up to the north. Here's a look at your Valley neighborhood forecast, sponsored by Dignity Health. Temperature around 95 for Hamilton City, 97 in Chico. Yeah, even Tuesday, Chico, Oroville, you're seeing that chance for showers here as well. But take a look at those temperatures, mid to upper 80s over the weekend. Low to mid 80s, low 80s by Monday and Tuesday. It's really exciting, isn't it? Especially when you look at temperatures like this, right? 101 degrees for Redding today, 98 for Red Bluff, 101 out in Palisadro. But when we look at that 7-day forecast, it is just a welcomed sight. Temperatures upper 80s over the weekend, low to mid 80s by Monday, Tuesday. And yeah, maybe that chance for showers by next Tuesday. That's your morning update. I'll be back again at noon with the latest forecast and the latest look at those forecast model data. That's all coming up. Have yourselves a great morning.